Hello and welcome back to my channel. This is Andy in Singapore. For today's video, we are going to do a review of the Citizen Pro Master Fujitsubo Diver. This is a fairly new model. It was launched early 2022, and during the launch, we had two different colorways. There was a blue one with all titanium build and bracelet, and this is the black, more sort of a plain version, which has a titanium case and a rubber strap. The Fujitsubo Diver series, I would say, is more of a vintage style kind of concept, and of course, one of the main selling points of this collection would be its titanium build. So this one here is not just titanium, it's also coated with Citizen's proprietary Duratec coating, which offers a greater degree of scratch resistance. And in that sense, I would say the blue dial version of this watch would be the style of the show, because we've got a full titanium bracelet as well as the case. Reference number for the watch is NB6021-17E. You can definitely get this watch from our boutique, and this is where the watch was loaned from. Really gotta thank Eric and his team at our boutique for so kindly and generously loaning me all the watches for my videos. Let me just quickly run through with you the key specs of the watch here. This one here has got a case size of 41mm, and again, this really fits the vintage style really well, because vintage watches, they don't normally have oversized cases. Total thickness here is also very manageable. It comes in at 12.3mm overall, and this is measuring from the base of this case back here, which is a rather plain titanium case back, to the top of this crystal here. So this is not a sapphire crystal, it is mineral crystal, and it does have a really nice chamfer on the edge of the crystal. Lug width on the Fujitsubo is 20mm. You can definitely get your tropic strap, to give it a more vintage look. But as it is, I think the stock strap, this is a rubber strap, and I think it really fits the theme and look very well, because it also has some sort of a texturing to it. Not quite waffle or tropics, but I think it does the job pretty well. The L to L measurement here is 48.2mm, and along with this curve at the mid case, I think it gives off a really good fit. Here are some more measurements not found on Citizen's official website. We've got a bezel size here of just under 41mm, very close. I think it comes in at 40.8mm, and crystal size here is 32mm, but do bear in mind we have this really pronounced chamfer over here, and I think this sort of makes the dial look a little bit smaller. We've also got a really small crown here coming in at 5.3mm. I think this is definitely too small for a dive watch. It is a screw-in crown, and it is nicely signed with the Pro Master logo, but again, I feel it is way too small. It offers very little grip and real estate for operating the crown. The Fujitsubo is powered by Citizen's 9051 movement. So this is an automatic movement, and it is a higher beat movement. It comes in at 28.8K per minute. So I would say this is a slightly higher end or higher grade movement than the Seiko 4R or 6R movements. But in terms of power reserve, it is still 42 hours. So I can safely put this under the entry level type of movement. But the good thing is it does have a higher beat. Being a titanium built watch, this one here comes in at only 70 grams on the rubber strap, and this is really light, alright? So true to advertisers' claim, alright? So any titanium watch is usually about 30 to 40% lighter than the steel watch counterpart, and this is true because for a diver of this size, it's typically about 100 grams, 110 grams on a rubber strap, and here we're looking at the correct weight reduction, which is about 30 to 40%. Finally, the street price for this watch is about $890. You can definitely get this one from our boutique. Just drop by Peninsula and give Eric a call or have a chat with him. I'm pretty sure you get a brother price for that. And now let's go on and talk about the dial design and the overall build quality of the Fujitsubo Diver. So this is a titanium case, titanium build. It even has titanium hardware here, and this is very standard because it still has that dull titanium finish. Okay, so it's not because the finishing is poor or the polishing is bad or anything like that, but this is inherent to all titanium built case, all right, unless you've got some sort of Zaratsu polishing, it still has that dull overall color to it. But I do like the fact that this is mostly brush finish. We've got a bit of a polish finish done here on the sides of the coinage bezel here. Otherwise, the watch is predominantly done in a brush finish, and we've got this very faint looking bevel here along the case sides. Not very pronounced, but you do see that there is a bit of a chamfer or bevel going on at the case sides. And together with this dull look and dull looking color here, this one is also sort of a smudge magnet, alright? So I think again this is inherent problem with all the titanium case watches, alright? So suddenly it becomes a smudge magnet. And here's one thing I like to highlight regarding the bezel action. Right, you can hear that the clicking here is not the most precise, okay? This is a 60 click bezel, and I would say the clicking here feels very toy-like. Doesn't feel like a precision instrument, so not a big fan of this overall bezel action. Moving on to the dial design of the Fujitsubo Diver, this one here is really plain, and I feel that this is a nod to the vintage styling. Alright, so from the case design, the case size, as well as the dial markers over here. So if you take away all these Pro Master logos and the Diver's 200 meters text and all that, this one here at its heart is mainly a vintage, a retro style diver, skin diver look, no crown guards, and this is uniform throughout the watch, from the fonts to the layout of the bezel prints, as well as the dial markers over here. Everything looks very plain and definitely vintage style and nothing fanciful about it. We've also got a very unique handset here, which is sort of a semi-skeletonized Mercedes hand here. If you look at the hour hand here, it looks like a Mercedes hand, but at the same time, it is also skeletonized at the stem here. Now let's have a look at the loom on the Citizen Fujitsubo Diver. I must say I'm pleasantly surprised because this one here really lights up like a torch. I would say it's right up there with Seiko's Lumi Bright, and wow, okay, it's nice to see that the Citizen is also, you know, matching the loom standards of Seiko. Very impressed with the level of loom here. Zooming out for a wrist shot, you can see that the Fujitsubo fits very well on my 17cm wrist. It's not the biggest when it comes to diver watch case, and there is almost no lug gap here despite the 48.2mm L to L. Overall thickness is also very manageable, coming in at 12.3mm, and I think this is more or less the sweet spot if we are talking about vintage style divers. Anything from 38 to 41 I think would work really well for this styling. So in summary, I would say the Fujitsubo Diver, it represents a very good value for money when it comes to diver watch, because this one here has full titanium construction as well as Duratec coating, and when we talk about the price point here, it's definitely coming in at a better price than many Seiko divers. So if we are comparing like for like titanium built with coating and all that, the Shogun would be a direct competitor to this watch, but the Shogun is at least twice the price of the Fujitsubo. So when it comes to this category, about $1,000, you can't even get the 63 mask because it comes in at around 1,300 Singapore dollars. Even for the rubber strap version, I think it's about 1,001 Singapore dollars. So I dare say the Citizen divers, they're generally coming in at better value for money because you've got a higher beat rate movement, and the overall materials used here, I would say it is more premium. So there you have it. That was my full review of the Citizen Pro Master Fujitsubo titanium case diver. This is definitely suitable for a person who is looking for a titanium case dive watch at a more affordable pricing. This is Andy in Singapore. I'll see you next week for more watch reviews together with George and some of his friends here. Bye bye.